Today is Tuesday, December 7th, 2010. I am David K. Williams Jr., but you can call me Dave, Solamente Dave. It's day 21 of the BlueCarp video experiment, and of course I still have no idea what I'm doing. As you saw from the headline there in the Denver Post, Denver Broncos head coach Josh McDaniels was fired yesterday, and the Denver Post editorial board is glad. They actually had an official editorial, not a sports column, saying that they were glad McDaniels was fired. Now, the headline of their editorial says, "No love lost for Broncos McDaniels." Then, in the body of the editorial, they referred to him as, quote, "the arrogant, overconfident coach." Wow. That seems kind of unusual to me that the editorial board would be so harsh on a mere football coach. But I guess we know what sells newspapers in Denver. Actually, I guess nothing sells newspapers anymore, but the Broncos are still very popular. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals yesterday heard arguments out of California about gay marriage and whether or not it should be recognized by the state. Now, both sides have it wrong. One side says the government should only recognize heterosexual marriage. The other side says the government should also recognize homosexual marriage. This is a great example of our problem. It's indicative of our mindset that has to change. Both sides of this argument assume that the government has a role in marriage. Why? Marriage is between two people, and if they have one, they're God. Where does the government fit into that equation? Now, historically, government wasn't involved in marriages. The church married people and kept those records. It wasn't until after the Civil War in the United States that they passed laws to prevent race mixing until the state got involved. So you had to go down to the clerk's office, fill out the paperwork, pay the $20 or whatever it is. Of course, there's always a fee. When the government's involved, you always have to pay for their official sanction. So you go down, you pay the fee, you get a stamp from some low-level government functionary, and now it's legitimate. Now, shouldn't that be insulting to the religious right? Now think about it. If you're religious, it's between you and your spouse, your soon-to-be spouse. You go to a church, in the eyes of God and the congregation, you get married. Why does a government clerk need to approve of that? Where does a government clerk come into that? So you're going to say it's not good enough to be in the church before your God, you have to go down and get a stamp from a government functionary? Government doesn't need to be in marriage at all, and they haven't been until the past couple hundred years. The stupid comment of the day goes to Joyce Rubin. She is the Senior Associate Director of the Anti-Defamation League in Colorado. Now, in a Post article today, they dealt with Douglas County and their discussion of school vouchers. The article says, quote, "Her organization," that's Joyce Rubin's, "nationally opposes vouchers in part because they use tax money to teach children," quote, "beliefs that are not shared by all taxpayers," unquote. So she doesn't want any tax money going to teach children beliefs that are not shared by all taxpayers. That's absurd, because the implication is that there are indeed beliefs shared by all taxpayers. No such beliefs exist. The pit bull ban in Denver was dealt with last night. The city council said the ban would not make exception for service animals to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Now, again, it's a Post article by Kyle Glazier. Councilman Charlie Brown, who's in favor of the pit bull ban, didn't want to make any exceptions to comply with the ADA. He urged his colleagues not to, quote, "roll over and play dead," cute Charlie, for the government, and to stand by the pit bull ban. So don't roll over, play dead for the feds. Stand by what you believe in. And that's the kind of attitude I'm looking for. Tell the feds to pound dog biscuits. Now, I only hope Councilman Brown will be consistent in that attitude and will tell the feds to buzz off whenever they tell the city that they must do something. I'm Dave Williams. Subscribe to the BlueCarp YouTube channel. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Give me feedback. The fact that I'm doing these proves I'm narcissistic, and so help me feed that addiction. Follow me on my blog, www.bluecarp.com, Twitter, @BlueCarp, Facebook.com/BlueCarp. And for information on the Colorado Legislature, follow me on Twitter @Gadsden Society. Today is Tuesday, December 7th, 2010. I'm Dave Williams. Freedom is dangerous, my friends. Live dangerously.